The stars looked calm that night. The Milky Way stretched across the sky like a shining river, and the moon gave Earth a gentle glow. People on the ground had no idea that far beyond their atmosphere, something was approaching. Something that carried danger. Something that carried arrogance. At the very edge of the solar system, a fleet of alien warships entered silently. Their hulls were black, their engines almost invisible against the darkness of space. They came like shadows, confident and fearless. To them, Earth was nothing more than a small world, easy to break, easy to conquer. The commanders of the alien fleet spoke with pride. Humans, one sneered, are children who fight with sticks. They are still trapped on their little planet. Another laughed. We will breach their frontiers in a single strike. For centuries, the galaxy had ignored Earth. Humans were seen as loud but harmless, spending their time fighting each other, building weapons too weak to matter. The invaders thought they understood Earth. They thought nothing could surprise them. But tonight, they would discover how wrong they were. The first scout ship moved forward, crossing the orbit of Pluto. Its scanners lit up, sending back streams of data to the fleet. For a brief moment, the readings were clear. Then silence. The ship vanished. Not destroyed, not damaged, just gone. No distress signal, no explosion, nothing. The commanders exchanged uneasy looks. Send another, one ordered quickly, brushing away the fear in his voice. The second scout rushed ahead, faster and stronger than the first. It reached Neptune's orbit. The sensors blinked once, twice, and then darkness. Again silence. The second ship was gone, erased like the first. Whispers filled the alien flagship. Is it a natural void? Some hidden weapon? But the senior commander only scoffed. Humans cannot do this. Their technology is centuries behind. These are malfunctions, nothing more. And yet, in the silence of the fleet, the fear began to grow. Far below, on Earth itself, the truth was different. Humanity had been watching. In secret, they had always expected this day. They knew the galaxy would come. They knew someone would try to breach their home. So, while the world fought wars on the surface, beneath the oceans and mountains, another war was being prepared, the war for Earth's survival. Hidden satellites moved into position. Ancient-seeming communication towers came alive with signals no alien could decode. Across the world, in bases never marked on any map, men and women sat quietly at glowing screens, watching the enemy ships draw closer. Earth did not fire. Earth did not shout warnings. Earth stayed silent, because silence was the first weapon. The alien fleet pressed forward. Their arrogance grew as they saw no resistance. Perhaps the humans do not even know we are here, one laughed. This is easier than we thought. But when they looked at their scanners, they saw strange flickers, echoes in space that were not supposed to exist. The more they scanned, the less they understood. Coordinates shifted, sensors failed, and shadows appeared where there should have been empty sky. They did not know it yet, but they had already crossed the first line of Earth's hidden defense. The third scout ship was sent forward, this time with shields and heavy armor. Its crew was certain they would succeed. As they entered the frontier zone, they saw something no one had expected. A massive shape, darker than the void, standing still between the stars. It was not a planet. It was not a rock. It was something built. Before the crew could even shout a warning, their ship was swallowed by light. A second later, it was gone, erased from existence. On the flagship, panic spread. 3 scouts lost. No evidence. No explanation. The galaxy had fought countless wars, but never had their fleet been challenged this way. A young officer whispered, "Commander, something is waiting for us." The commander shouted back, "No, humans cannot touch us. Move forward. Full speed. We will crush them before they understand what is happening." But deep inside, even the commander felt it, that cold fear that comes before disaster. On Earth, in a hidden control room buried under the ocean, a human commander stood tall. His face was calm, his eyes sharp. He listened to the reports. 3 enemy ships destroyed. The alien fleet now moving closer. He raised his hand and gave a simple order. "Do not fire. Let them come." Let them think Earth is weak. The deeper they come, the harder they will fall. His words spread across Earth's defense grid. Thousands of silent weapons held their breath. Giant warships hidden beneath oceans waited for their time. And the skies above Earth glowed faintly, as if the planet itself was alive and watching. The alien fleet advanced. Their pride blinded them. Their arrogance pushed them forward. They laughed at the silence, thinking it meant safety. But that very silence was the trap. The stars looked calm, but the calm was a lie. The silent warning had already been given. And soon the galaxy would learn Earth was not prey. Earth was the predator. The alien fleet did not stop. 3 scouts were already gone, erased without a trace, but arrogance blinded their leaders. They believed humans could not do this. They believed Earth was still weak. And so they pushed forward. Their warships, black and sharp, moved into formation. Hundreds of vessels spread like a net, surrounding the solar system from the outside. The commanders spoke with false confidence. Perhaps the scouts were lost to an asteroid field, one muttered. Or a hidden gravitational pull, another added quickly. But deep down, none of them believed their own words. The order was given. Send a warship. Not a small scout, but a heavy destroyer. Something built for battle. Its cannons glowed, its armor thick, its engines roaring with power. If humans had weapons, this ship would crush them. The destroyer entered the frontier zone where the scouts had vanished. Its sensors scanned every corner, every shadow. The crew laughed at the silence. Nothing here, one said. Just tricks of empty space. But then their laughter stopped. The ship's lights flickered. The navigation systems spun wildly. On the radar, strange signals appeared. Giant shapes moving faster than light, surrounding them. The crew tried to lock on, but the signals blinked in and out like ghosts. Suddenly, a deep voice filled the comms. Not alien, not robotic. Human, you have crossed Earth's line. Turn back. The crew froze. A single human voice in perfect clarity, speaking their language, though no transmission beam was detected. It felt like the voice came from everywhere. Inside their heads, inside the ship, inside space itself. The commander of the destroyer laughed nervously. Empty threats. Fire forward. Cannons lit up, spitting energy bolts into the dark. The blasts traveled across space, but hit nothing. The targets on radar had already vanished. Then silence again. And from the void, a flash of blue light appeared directly in front of them. A ship. Not alien. Not theirs. Human. It rose out of the darkness like a shadow breaking free from the night. Its surface was black, absorbing light, but its edges glowed faintly with energy. It was not like the primitive aircraft humans showed the galaxy. It was something else. Something hidden. Something powerful. The alien crew panicked. How? Humans cannot build this. Before they could react, the human ship moved. It did not drift like normal vessels. It jumped. One instant it was 100 kilometers away, the next it was right in front of the destroyer, staring at them like a predator. The human voice came again. This is your first and last warning. The alien commander, burning with pride, shouted, "Fire!" The destroyer unleashed all its weapons. Beams, missiles, torpedoes. Everything shot forward in a storm of fire. The void itself glowed with destruction. But when the light faded, the human ship was untouched. A glowing shield shimmered for a moment, then vanished like water. The alien crew gasped. Nothing they fired had even scratched it. The human ship answered with only one strike. A single beam of pure light burst from its hull. It was not loud. It was not dramatic. It was precise. In 1 second, the alien destroyer was gone. Not broken, not shattered, gone. A flash of white light and then silence. On the flagship, the rest of the alien fleet watched in horror as one of their strongest ships disappeared from their screens. The crew stood frozen. A silence heavier than death filled the command chamber. The senior commander clenched his fists. Impossible. Humans are primitive. They cannot do this. They cannot. But his trembling voice betrayed his fear. One officer whispered, "Sir, The humans warned us. The commander roared, "No, this is a trick. This is stolen technology. Humans cannot have built this themselves." But deep in his heart, he knew the truth. On Earth, hidden bunkers celebrated in silence. They had revealed only a glimpse of their strength, just enough to send a message. The human commander on Earth gave a new order. Do not chase them. Let them return. Let them tell the galaxy what they saw. Because Earth wanted fear to spread. Earth wanted every alien race to think twice before crossing their frontier again. But the alien fleet did not retreat. Not yet. Their pride would not allow it. Instead, they prepared more ships, heavier, stronger, determined to prove their power. They did not realize that the first shock was only the beginning. The humans had given them one chance, one warning, and if they ignored it, Earth would show them what true retribution looked like. The galaxy had always thought Earth was backward. To alien eyes, humans were noisy, emotional, and divided. They saw wars on the surface, hunger in some nations, and endless political fights. To them, humans were too busy fighting each other to stand as one. That was the mistake. That was the illusion. The truth was hidden under layers of silence. For decades, Earth had been preparing. Governments that looked like enemies on the surface were secretly cooperating in the shadows. Scientists who worked in separate countries were secretly building together. While the galaxy laughed at humanity's weakness, humanity was quietly becoming something else. Something dangerous. Deep under the Atlantic Ocean lay vast bunkers, larger than cities. From the outside they looked like ordinary seabeds, but inside were hangars full of warships, sleek, black, and silent. They were powered by reactors no alien could understand, built from knowledge that came not from space, but from humanity's own desperate genius. Under the Himalayas, tunnels stretched for miles. In these tunnels, massive cannons rested, pointed toward the sky. They were not nuclear. They were not conventional. These weapons bent energy itself, storing it until it could rip a hole through any ship that dared to fly too close. And in orbit, disguised as abandoned satellites, Earth had placed machines that did not even exist in alien records. They could bend signals, cloak entire regions of space, and shut down enemy systems without firing a shot. All of this was part of a plan called Project Sentinel. Few humans even knew it existed. Only those who worked in the deepest layers of Earth's defense understood. To the rest of the world, life went on as normal. Children went to school, factories produced goods, people lived their lives. But far below, soldiers and scientists stood ready for a war no one else even believed in. Now, with the alien fleet pressing into the solar system, Project Sentinel had come alive. In one hidden base beneath the Pacific, a young operator stared at her screen. The alien fleet's signals lit up like fireflies. She turned to her commander. "They are moving closer. Hundreds of ships, maybe more." The commander nodded calmly. Then we moved to stage 2. Across Earth, silent orders spread. Engines warmed inside the hidden warships under the sea. Weapons deep in mountain bunkers hummed with power. Satellites cloaked themselves and began circling like vultures in the sky. But Earth did not attack yet. Humans had learned patience the hard way, through centuries of war. They would not waste energy on the first wave. They would wait until the invaders were deep inside the trap. Meanwhile, the alien fleet was growing restless. They had lost scouts. They had lost a destroyer. And yet, their pride refused to let them retreat. Their commanders shouted, "This is stolen power. Humans cannot have built it. Someone must be helping them. Some other empire hides in the shadows." But no empire hid behind Earth. It was only humanity. On the flagship, the alien commander slammed his clawed hand against the table. "Prepare the dreadnoughts. If humans think they can scare us, we will crush them with fire." And so 3 massive warships moved forward. Each one was bigger than a city, armed with weapons that could split moons. They roared toward Earth with confidence. But as they entered the human frontier, something strange happened. Their targeting systems died. Their engines flickered. Entire control panels went black. The crew screamed as alarms blared. Invisible signals had wrapped around them, jamming everything they had. And then, From the dark came the humans. Warships rose out of the oceans like titans breaking free from chains. Their black hulls dripped with water as they climbed into the sky. Engines ignited with blinding light. The world's seas shook as one after another. Human ships revealed themselves. From the mountains, cannons emerged, their barrels glowing with power. Energy crackled like storms above the peaks. The aliens had thought Earth was weak, but what they saw now was a planet that had turned itself into a fortress. Inside the control room beneath the ocean, the human commander spoke again. His voice was calm, steady, and cold. They still believe we are prey. Let us show them the predator. The words carried across every hidden base, every warship, every cannon. And for the first time, humanity revealed its teeth. The 3 alien dreadnoughts tried to fire, but nothing worked. Their systems were blind, their weapons dead. And as panic spread through their crews, beams of white-hot energy cut through the darkness. In less than a minute, all 3 dreadnoughts were gone. The alien fleet froze. Hundreds of ships watched as their strongest weapons were erased like paper in fire. And at that moment, the galaxy's greatest mistake became clear. Earth had not been weak. Earth had been waiting. The alien fleet could no longer hide its fear. They had seen 3 of their strongest dreadnoughts vanish in blinding light. They had seen human warships rise from the oceans like sleeping giants. And yet their pride chained them. They could not accept defeat. The flagship commander roared, his voice shaking the chamber. Enough hiding. Enough games. Humans think they can scare us, but they will learn the meaning of fire. Prepare for full invasion. Orders spread across the alien fleet. Hundreds of warships lit up with weapons. Cannons glowed red. Missile bays opened. Energy storms swirled at their tips, ready to be unleashed. The fleet moved in formation, pushing deeper into the solar system, aiming directly for Earth. On Earth, the silent watchers were no longer still. Project Sentinel had moved into its final stage. Across the globe, massive screens flickered with maps of space. Every movement of the alien fleet was tracked in real time. In a bunker beneath the Rockies, a young officer whispered, "They are coming in full force." The human commander stood with folded arms, calm as stone. "Good," he replied softly. "Now they are inside our reach." Above Earth's skies, clouds parted. One after another, massive warships burst free from the oceans, the rivers, the ice shelves. Some were so large they blocked out the sun as they rose. Their black hulls shimmered like mirrors of the night sky. Alien crews gasped as their sensors finally detected the truth. Hundreds of human ships, rising together, spreading into space like a wall of predators. The battle had begun. The alien fleet fired first. Energy beams brighter than lightning tore across space. Missiles screamed forward, leaving blazing trails. The first wave crashed against Earth's defenders. Explosions bloomed. Fire danced. The galaxy thought humans would break under this storm. But Earth was ready. Invisible shields shimmered into being, wrapping human ships in glowing veils. Cannons fired back, their shots cutting through alien beams like knives through paper. The first wave of missiles vanished in midspace, erased by cloaked satellites that jammed and disrupted their cores. And then the humans answered with their strike. From the oceans below, colossal cannons rose. They fired beams so bright the night sky turned to day. The blasts ripped through the alien front lines, tearing ships apart with surgical precision. Warships that had ruled 100 systems died in seconds. Aboard one alien vessel, panic erupted. "Our shields useless," cried a crew member. "Their weapons? They cut through everything," another screamed. The commander of that ship tried to speak, but his words ended in silence as a beam tore his ship in half. On Earth, the people finally saw it. The night sky filled with fire, like 1,000 suns exploding above them. Ordinary men, women, and children stood on rooftops, staring in awe. For the first time, humanity saw the true face of its defenders. They were no longer afraid. They cheered, their voices rising to the heavens. In orbit, human warships moved with frightening speed. Unlike the massive, lumbering alien vessels, Earth's ships darted like predators, vanishing, reappearing, striking without warning. Every alien attempt to form a line broke apart. Every counterattack was crushed before it began. Still, the aliens fought. They sent waves of smaller ships to swarm the humans. For a moment, it seemed they might push back. Explosions filled the void. Human ships shook under fire, and the aliens roared with hope. But then, Earth revealed yet another weapon. From the mountains, silos opened. Sleek black missiles launched into the sky, but these were not ordinary warheads. They split into dozens of smaller drones, each carrying its own blade of energy. Together they danced across the battlefield, slicing through alien ships like wolves among sheep. One by one, the swarm of alien ships collapsed. Screams echoed across their comms before fading into silence. The human commander watched from his bunker. His voice remained calm, but his eyes burned with steel. "They thought we were prey," he said softly. "Now they see the truth. Now the galaxy will remember this night." On the alien flagship, despair spread. The commander who had once laughed at Earth now stood pale and trembling. Around him, officers shouted, begged, and cursed, but the truth was undeniable. Their fleet, once invincible, was being shattered. Still, the commander refused to retreat. "We are the Empire," he shouted. "We do not run from primitives." He slammed his fist on the console. "All ships, forward. Sacrifice if you must. Breach their world." And so, the aliens made their desperate push. Warships charged straight toward Earth, weapons blazing, ignoring the destruction around them. They would rather die trying to conquer than return in shame. But Earth was ready for even this. As the alien fleet drew near, the skies above Earth rippled. Hidden orbital stations uncloaked, their weapons locking on. In one voice they fired. The night was torn apart by thunder. Alien ships were ripped open, burning as they fell into the atmosphere. Fire rained across the world, but it was not Earth that burned, it was the invaders. The invasion had begun, but the invaders had underestimated humanity. For every strike they made, Earth struck back harder. For every weapon they fired, humans answered with something stronger. And in that moment, one truth echoed across the stars. The frontier of Earth would never be breached. The sky above Earth still burned with fire. Alien warships rained down from the heavens like falling stars, their wreckage lighting up the night. For centuries, the galaxy had laughed at humanity, calling them weak, divided, and primitive. But tonight, the galaxy learned a new truth. Humanity was no longer defending, they were striking back. Inside the ocean bunker, the human commander stood tall, his voice cold and calm. "They came to take our world," he said. "Now we take the fight to them. Launch the counterstrike." The order spread like lightning. Across the planet, hidden hangars opened. Massive warships, dark and silent, rose from the seas, from under the ice, from deep underground vaults. Their engines blazed with light as they climbed into the stars. The alien fleet, already broken, watched in horror. They had expected humans to hide behind shields, to cower on the ground. Instead, humans charged forward with fury. The hunted had become the hunters. Aboard one alien ship, a terrified officer whispered, "They're not just defending, they're attacking." The commander of that ship clenched his claws. "Then we hold the line." But there was no line to hold. Human ships darted through the battlefield like predators in a storm. They did not move like the massive, heavy alien vessels. They were faster, sharper, unpredictable. A human frigate blinked into existence in front of an alien cruiser, fired 2 blazing beams, and vanished before the enemy could even return fire. Explosions painted the void. Alien formations crumbled. The humans struck with precision. They targeted command ships, fuel carriers, communication hubs. Every shot was deliberate, every strike ruthless. It was not just battle, it was retribution. On Earth, crowds gathered on rooftops and open fields, watching the sky ignite. They saw streaks of light as human ships fired back at the invaders. They heard the thunder of weapons breaking through the atmosphere. For the first time in centuries, all of humanity stood united, their fear replaced by pride. Children pointed at the glowing trails and shouted, "That's us! We're winning!" Old men and women whispered, "We are not weak anymore." The alien flagship struggled to maintain control, their communications filled with panic. Unit 43 destroyed. Unit 89 gone. Shields collapsing. The alien commander slammed his fists. "Do not fall back. We are the Empire. We cannot be defeated by humans." His words shook with desperation. But even as he shouted, his screens went dark one by one. Entire squadrons were being erased in minutes. Back on Earth, the human commander spoke again. His voice was steady, but it carried the weight of history. "For centuries, we were divided. For centuries, we fought each other. But tonight, we stand as one. And together, we will show the galaxy that Earth is not prey. Earth is power." His words echoed across every warship. Human pilots tightened their grips, their eyes burning with determination. They remembered the losses, the sacrifices, the years of preparation. And now they unleashed everything. A massive human battleship rose into the front lines. Its hull glowed with energy, its cannons the size of towers. It fired a single shot, one beam of blinding white light. That beam cut straight through 3 alien cruisers, splitting them apart as if they were paper. The battlefield fell silent for a breath, as if even the stars had stopped to watch. Then chaos returned. Alien fleets scattered, trying to regroup. Some ships turned to flee, but human warships chased them down with merciless speed. For every human ship lost, 5 alien ships burned. For every human casualty, entire enemy squadrons were erased. The tide had turned. Humanity was no longer on the defensive. Humanity was on the attack. From the shadows of space, hidden satellites came alive. They pulsed with strange energy, sending waves across the battlefield. Alien weapons flickered and died. Their shields collapsed. Their engines froze. And in that moment of weakness, human warships struck again, tearing them apart. On the ground, people wept and cheered as alien fireballs lit the horizon. Some prayed, some shouted, but all of them understood. Earth was changing forever. The galaxy would never see them the same way again. In orbit, a young human pilot flew her fighter through a storm of debris. She locked onto an alien destroyer that was trying to escape. Her hands were steady as she whispered, "This is for all the worlds you destroyed." With a single shot, she split the destroyer into glowing shards. Humanity had waited too long to be underestimated. Now their wrath was unleashed. On the alien flagship, the commander finally saw it. His fleet was dying. His pride was broken. He looked at the burning battlefield and whispered, almost in disbelief, "They were never weak. They were waiting." And in that moment, he realized the truth. The humans were not just defending their planet. They were making a statement to the entire galaxy. If you come for Earth, Earth will come for you. The battle above Earth raged like a storm of fire. Alien warships exploded one after another, their burning wreckage falling like meteors through the night sky. Human ships hunted them relentlessly, fast and merciless. For the first time in galactic history, the invaders were not the predators, they were the prey. But even in the chaos, the alien fleet still had one hope left. At the heart of their armada, 3 colossal dreadnoughts waited. Each one was the size of a floating city, built from metals harvested across 100 conquered worlds. Their hulls were layered with armor so thick that even stars could not burn through them easily. They were called the Annihilators, weapons of last resort. The alien commander, his voice trembling between fear and rage, gave the order. "Release the Annihilators. Crush the humans. Tear down their planet." Slowly, the 3 giants moved forward. Their engines burned brighter than suns. Their cannons, massive enough to shatter moons, began to charge. The battlefield fell into a sudden hush. Even the human commanders froze for a moment, watching the giants approach. On Earth, in hidden bunkers, alarms screamed. Screens lit up with red warnings. 3 dreadnoughts incoming, an operator cried. Weapons charging. Planetary strike possible in 5 minutes. For the first time in the battle, human faces grew pale. If those cannons fired, the damage would be catastrophic. Entire continents could be burned. Humanity's victory would mean nothing if their world was left in ruins. But the human commander did not flinch. He stood calm, his eyes steady. "This is the moment we prepared for," he said. "Activate the Skyfire." His words unlocked a weapon no alien had ever seen. High above the planet, disguised as satellites and broken stations, massive towers of energy came alive. Invisible until now, they glowed with lightning. One by one, they linked together, forming a web that stretched across the sky. The project had been whispered about in secret. Skyfire, Earth's ultimate defense. As the dreadnoughts charged their cannons, the sky itself began to glow. The first annihilator fired. A beam of destructive energy, brighter than 1,000 suns, tore across the void, aimed directly at Earth. Entire oceans boiled under its light. Cities trembled. The world seemed ready to end. But then the beam struck the Skyfire web. Instead of piercing through, the energy was absorbed. The towers glowed brighter, feeding on the attack like hungry beasts. The alien crew gasped in horror as their most powerful weapon was swallowed whole. The human commander gave the next order. "Return it." And in an instant, the sky answered. The stolen energy was released, redirected through the Skyfire web. The heavens lit up as a colossal beam fired back toward the dreadnought that had dared to strike. It was not just a weapon, it was justice returned. The first annihilator did not even have time to raise its shields. The beam cut straight through it, splitting the massive ship into glowing fragments. A vessel the size of a city, armed with weapons of empire, was erased in seconds. Silence spread across the battlefield. Both sides froze. No one had ever seen power like this. Then the second dreadnought roared in fury. Its cannons fired a barrage of plasma storms, each one enough to destroy continents. But again, the Skyfire drank them in. Again, the energy was returned. And again, a dreadnought was destroyed in one blinding strike. The last annihilator trembled. Its crew, once proud and merciless, now begged to retreat. But the alien commander screamed, "Fight! Do not run from these humans." The final dreadnought fired all its weapons at once. Beams, missiles, storms. It unleashed its full arsenal in desperation. The night sky became chaos, brighter than the sun. But the Skyfire held strong. It absorbed everything, glowed brighter than ever, and then released a final, devastating strike. The third annihilator vanished in a storm of fire. And with it, the alien fleet's last hope died. The battlefield was quiet now. Human warships circled like hawks, finishing off the stragglers. Alien vessels broke apart, their commanders screaming as silence swallowed them. The once mighty fleet was nothing but debris and ash, scattered among the stars. On Earth, the people wept and cheered. Children pointed at the glowing sky, shouting in joy. Families held each other, knowing their planet was safe. For the first time in history, humanity had not only survived an invasion, they had won. In the ocean bunker, the human commander finally allowed himself a small smile. "It is done," he whispered. "The turning point has come. The galaxy will never see us the same way again." Far away, in the alien flagship, the surviving commander trembled. His empire had underestimated humanity, and now it had paid the price. He sent a single message into the void. "Do not cross Earth. Do not provoke them, for they are no longer prey. They are the storm." And so, the battle's end was not just victory. It was a warning that would echo across the stars. The battlefield above Earth was silent now. The fires of war had faded, leaving only glowing wreckage drifting in the void. Alien ships, once so mighty and feared, floated broken and lifeless. The stars looked calm again, but the calm was not the same. It was the silence of victory. It was the silence of fear spreading across the galaxy. On Earth, the people still watched the skies. Some stood on rooftops, others gathered in fields, all staring upward. They had seen destruction, they had seen fire, but above all, they had seen hope. For the first time, humanity believed in its own strength. They were no longer small, no longer powerless. They had defended their world against the galaxy itself. In the hidden bunker under the ocean, the human commander stood before a massive screen. Around him, officers and soldiers waited in silence. Reports poured in. Enemy fleet destroyed. Survivors fleeing the system. Earth is secure. The commander's face remained calm. He looked at the glowing map of space, at the places beyond Earth, beyond the solar system. And he knew this was not the end. This was the beginning. Open the channel, he said. Technicians nodded. Across the battlefield, surviving alien ships were still sending desperate signals to each other, trying to regroup, trying to flee. The humans cut through all of it with one transmission, a single message broadcast not only to the enemy fleet but to every listening ear across the stars. The commander's voice was steady, cold, and unforgettable. This is Earth. You came to breach our frontier. You came to take what was ours. You thought we were weak. You thought we were prey. But you were wrong. Let this be the only warning you will ever receive. If you return, you will not survive. Earth does not bow. Earth does not fall. We are the storm you feared. Tell your galaxy. Humanity is awake. The words carried across space like thunder. On the alien flagship, the surviving commander listened with horror. His claws trembled, his mouth dry. He knew these words would spread faster than any ship. Empires, kingdoms, and coalitions across the galaxy would hear them. And they would all understand. Earth was no longer hidden. Earth was no longer small. Earth was a force. The alien crew begged, "Retreat, Commander. If we stay, none of us will live." For once, the commander did not argue. With a heavy heart, he gave the order. The flagship turned away, limping into the void with only fragments of its fleet. Behind it, silence. On Earth, celebrations erupted. Bells rang in cities, fireworks lit up the skies, and people danced in the streets. Families hugged each other, tears streaming down their faces. Strangers embraced, united by something greater than fear. Humanity had always fought itself, nation against nation, people against people. But tonight was different. Tonight, for the first time in history, the entire planet had fought as one. And they had won. In the Pacific bunker, the commander turned to his officers. The galaxy now knows who we are. They will fear us. They will respect us. But they will also test us again. He paused, his voice calm but firm. And when they do, we will be ready. His officers saluted. Across the world, leaders spoke the same words. There would be challenges ahead, but humanity had found something greater than survival. They had found unity. Far beyond the solar system, the surviving aliens returned to their empire. They carried with them stories of human weapons, human ships, and the skyfire that devoured dreadnoughts. Some leaders refused to believe it. Others trembled at the thought. But soon, the truth would spread. Earth was no longer a forgotten world. In quiet corners of the galaxy, whispers began. Do not cross the humans. They are dangerous. They are the end of empires. And while the galaxy spoke in fear, Earth looked to the stars with new eyes. They had defended their home. They had shown their strength. And now they wondered what else waited beyond. In the still night sky, the stars no longer looked distant. They looked like doors, doors waiting to be opened. Humanity had survived the invasion. Humanity had delivered the final message. And now humanity was ready to step into the galaxy, not as prey, but as power.